Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sunday Stretch. I'm Jen. Thanks for joining. Today I've got 2 sticks. It's a 2-stick day. Also, I've got my yoga strap and yoga blocks, maybe blankets, maybe. We'll see how today goes. Okay, so I like to always start with my sticks with a nice hamstring glute opener. So we're going to start with our hinge. Place the sticks out in front of you, running in parallel, right inside your armpit. So if you were to extend your arms, you have a nice line here. Extend it out and away, and you're going to push your palms down into the sticks. Soft bend in your knees and begin your hinge forward. Nice pressure into sticks is going to help you activate your lats. Slide down, and once you get as deep as you want to go for this first stretch, wrap your fingers around the stick. Pause here and breathe. Inhale deeply and exhale. Good. All right, let's come up out of that, either walking your way up or pressing your heels through the ground. Good. All right, let's take that again. Sliding down, nice tension into the sticks, creating energy in your lats, melting, belly button through sternum, wrapping the fingers around. And then once you've reached that level, analyze, am I gripping in my quads? Try not to. Try to release the hip flexors, draw the belly button in, and think long neutral spine. On the exhale, press heels to the ground or walk your way up. Good, let's take one more. Exhale and melt. Pausing here for 3 to 5 seconds. Exhale, press your heels to the ground and rise. Nice job. Okay. Now, place the sticks about a little bit wider, put about at your pinky toes. Grip and extend, and then open up the chest. Slow chest opener. Try to stay as relaxed in your neck and tops of shoulders as you can. Nicely done. Okay, now plant the sticks in just a little bit closer, about inside the armpits again. Okay, now we're going to take just some baby little lateral lunges here to try and warm up our hips before we start working on the next movement. So your feet are closer together. We're going to use these sticks just for gentle support. Okay, we'll extend and step out to the side and back to center, out to the side and back to center. So nice lateral lunge. Depth isn't particularly important here. The sticks are here to provide some stability, making sure that we're not shooting too far forward, but we're just trying to warm up our hips a little bit. Exhale and press up. Exhale, press up. Good. One more on each side. Nicely done. Okay, so now we're going to take our sticks and we're going to start with the entry level here of unilateral hip work. So I had the sticks placed at my midfoot, okay, about at my ears, and I'm going to extend away. Okay, I'm going to stand on one foot. So you pick. I'm going to stand on my right. I'm going to extend my left midfoot into the stick with energy. Okay, I'm going to feel that energy move all the way up my body. I want to exhale as I contract, drawing my knee up and back down. Good. So the further the sticks are away from you, the more challenging this is. Now, what you do not want to do is curve in like this. We want to be externally rotated as we do this, so nice and open. Good. Okay, let's switch sides. All right, again, check in with your sticks, a little bit of energy firing into them so you can get those lats and obliques fired up. Right foot out with energy, press into the stick. Exhale, contract and pull up. Use that exhale and open up. You should be externally rotated. Again, we don't want the knee in, we want the knee out. Taking 7 or 8 on this side. Good, and then bringing down and walking it out a little bit. All right, now take your sticks, plant them in front of your feet. Okay, maybe just a tiny bit wider than your feet. So this is the slightly tougher one that we really want to work on improving, which is internally and externally rotating the femur in the joint. All right, so I'm going to stand on my right leg and I'm going to float my left leg up. And I want my knee to stay still in space. And I'm going to tap and tap. Each stick internally and externally rotating, but trying to keep my knee as still as I can. Good. Now, if you find it impossible to do, narrow your sticks just a little bit, right? Set a small range and get bigger. Don't set a range that you're like, wow, I'm really failing. Look how much my knee is moving. It shouldn't be moving from side to side. You want to minimize that movement, maximize what's going on in the joint, right? So get that 1,000-yard stare. And focus in the hip. Okay, good. All right, shake it out and then switch legs. Right knee up, about belly button height. In and out, in and out. Good, focus on stillness of the knee, internal and external, tap and tap, in and out. Good, keep that knee still, nicely done. Good, nice job. All right, take it down, walk it out. You want to try it wider? Okay, I'm moving it out 2 or 3 inches and I just want to see how I do, okay? So before I was right shoulder width, I'm going to take 2 inches wider on either side. Exhale, going back to my original leg, internal and external. Now, as it becomes more challenging, you should feel more muscles firing. I'm putting energy into my stick, helping me to stabilize. As I drag my heel out, I'm internally rotating and I can feel my oblique firing to stabilize. Okay, remember, keep that knee still, internal and external. Imagine that you're putting something on the knee, whether it's a glass of water, a tennis ball, a piece of orange cranberry bread, a glass of eggnog, all of the above. All right, go to the other side. So only when you test yourself this way can you see, oh, my range is better on my right leg versus my left. Okay. Okay, right knee raised, belly button height. Internally or externally rotate, it goes in. Internally rotate, it goes out. And at this, that's where I feel my obliques firing. In and out. In, out. Good. In, out. All right, nicely done. Okay. Good hip strengthener. You should feel good about that first thing in the morning. Yes. It was a strengthener. This is kind of stretch and strength. It would be boring if it was all just stretch, wouldn't it? Okay, 2 sticks, split stance. Left foot forward, right foot back. Sticks are angled back. So the base is angled back, the fronts are angled forward, my arms are straight, about parallel to the ground. And I'm gonna exhale and rotate open. So I'm trying to get my arms lengthened and wide, my shoulders in parallel with my feet. And come back to center. Exhale and twist. Good. Exhale and open. Get your arms as straight as you're able. Good. Okay, now we're going to take a tiny little single or split stance hinge. Lowering yourself as deeply into that front leg as you're able. Keeping your sticks into the ground. Find that left heel. My left leg is forward, so my left heel is digging into the ground. Exhale, contract through the hamstring of that left leg. Press yourself up, keeping that spine nice and neutral. Long split spine, split stance yet. Press that left heel into the ground. Contract and bring your feet together. Step back, alternate split stance. Okay, we're gonna go back to the chest opener. So I'm gonna change my angle so y'all can still see me. Okay, right leg forward. Now my left hand is gonna rotate back. Stay relaxed through your neck and tops of shoulders. Keep those arms as straight as you're able. Exhale and open. Good, we're just starting to get into the low back here. Exhale and open. Now, as you do this, that left arm's going back, pull from the back of your left shoulder. You want that back shoulder to open, open, open. Take your gaze to that left hand behind you. Good, now return, our gaze is forward, our sticks are still into the ground, and we're gonna slowly hinge forward onto that right hamstring. Lengthen, try to melt, let your hands slide down the sticks as deeply as you can here. That right heel, right foot is very active into the ground. Good, taking a couple breaths here and then push that right heel through the ground, keeping your spine neutral, pressing up with control, and then pressing your heel again to bring your feet together. Nicely done. All right, let's set one stick down. All right, place the stick behind your hips, soft bend in the knees, feet wide. Exhale and start your twisting, nice and slow, pushing open, pausing. Of late, I've called this little isometric hold. I've called it getting sticky. So just a little stick and then release, almost like you have like sticky honey, stick and then release. Yeah. Yes. All right, returning to center. Exhale and hinge forward, nice and deeply. As you're able, let your head hang and gaze between your knees. Good. Press your heels through the ground to rise. Take one more. Nice deep hinge. Exhale, let your head hang. Gaze between your legs. Breathe deeply here. Press heels through the ground and rise. Okay, now we're going to flip our grip. So our palms are facing back. Our grip is a little bit more narrow, just on the outside of our hips. We're going to hinge one more time all the way down and then press that stick up and over your back. Soften through the front of your chest and let it hang over your back, pulling gently. Don't force it. Just try and release through the front and your shoulders as you are able. Good, and then contract, pull it down to your hips, press your heels to the ground, rise, and we'll take one more of those. Pausing at the top, letting the blood settle back down, get out of your face, return to a normal color. And then exhale, we'll go one more time. Good, head hanging, stick begins to lift and fall over our back, releasing all that tension in the front of our chest. Good, contract, bring it back to your hips, press your heels to the ground and rise. Good, let the blood resettle. Whew. All right, let's put it behind our neck, into our upper traps, not our neck. Palms extended. Now let's start with a side opener. Lengthening armpit to hip. I'm reaching down toward my right side, so my left armpit to hip is getting the stretch, and I'm imagining, I got a new analogy, I'm in a toaster. I'm just going down into a toaster slot. Good. Rise. Let's go the other way. Reaching down, sliding through the toaster slot, opening up the right side. And rise. Okay. Now we're going to be a little bit more intentional. We're going to do the same thing, opening up through our left side. And then we're going to contract through those muscles to draw us up. So not just use our back muscles and come back up naturally and easily. I want you to think about contracting through those lengthened muscles. Flip the switch, right? Exhale, contract through those lats and obliques to draw your spine back up to neutral, okay? Exhale, you're opening those muscles. Feel your rib cage open and separate. Feel those obliques lengthen. Give yourself a couple of breaths here. And then as you're ready, exhale and contract to draw them back up. So think very deeply through the muscles you're lengthening, and then make a decision to contract through them to draw your spine back up to neutral. Now I'm opening up through the right side, left hand reaches down for the ground. Feel that lengthening. Stay in your toaster slot. And then as you're ready, exhale and contract to draw you back up. How was that? Could you do it? Okay, let's try it one more time. Open up the opposite direction again. So opening up the left side, right hand reaching for the ground. On the exhale, contracting armpit to hip to return you back to center. Okay, opening up the right side, left hand to the ground. And as you're ready, exhale and contract. All right, you think you're done, but now we're gonna actually reach for the ground. So we're gonna open up and hinge. Okay, you got it? 2 separate movements, hinging at the hips, reaching for the ground. I have my right hand on the inside of my right foot, and I'm feeling a nice stretch in my inner thigh and my right leg, keeping my shoulders stacked, chest open. On the exhale, contract to rise back up to center. Stay in your toaster slot. Exhale, lower, left hand to left, inner foot. And as you're ready, exhale and contract to rise back up. Okay, so we're gonna further that now with that side stretch, single stick laterally. Okay, so you should feel like you are well warmed to get deeply into this next stretch. All right, for the taller folks, this is where you might reach for your taller stick. Okay, for those of us that are just fine with our normal sticks, grab the stick on top. It should be parallel to the outside of your foot. I have it in my right hand. So it's running on the outside of my right midfoot. Extend it away, can be close. All right, gripping the top, soft bend in the knees. Take that left hand, bend it at an L. Inhale here, and as you exhale, you're gonna move the right hip away from the stick. Extend the left hand all the way towards your ear, so bicep meets the ear and meets the top of the stick. Try and relax through your upper traps. Stay in your toaster slot. Good. Rise. If you felt good and comfortable with that, go ahead and lower your grip. Okay, we're gonna get a little more deeply. Left arm in a L. Exhale, right hip moves away. Start rounding, extend and reach. Left bicep to left ear, reaching for the stick. Relaxing through those upper traps. Stay in your male slot or your toaster slot. Good. Okay, excellent. This last one, we're going to add the bow and arrow to. So the hand that's gripping the stick is going to extend and push away once that top hand has grasped the stick. Okay, so the key here is the opposite hand is going to want to grasp the top stick. And as we get into position, we're going to push hard, creating a bend in our stick, pushing away. But again, trying to open up, keep that bicep to your ear in your toaster slot. Okay, soft bend in your knees. Left arm is bent. Exhale as you move the right hip away and extend and reach for the top of the stick. Once you have a firm grasp on the top of the stick, let your right hand slide down and then extend and press away, creating a bend and stretching. It's a super stretch through that left side. Good. Now slowly bend that bottom arm. and come up to standing. Good. Okay, move the stick to the other side. All right, so now it's on my left, starting with a high grip in my left hand. Soft bend in the knees. Right arm is bent. Soft bend, exhale, left hip moves away, right arm extended, bicep meets ear, hands meet together at the top of the stick. Check in with your toaster slot. Try not to grip or grind your teeth here. Good, release and come back up to center. Nicely done. All right, lower the grip on the stick as you're able, just a little bit. Have awareness how much you're clenching through your quads. Whew. Okay, all right, so right arm is bent, soft bend. Right arm reaches for the ceiling, legs extend, left hip moves away, opening up, grasping the stick as you're able. Nice stretch, armpit to hip, right side. Good, okay, coming back up. All right, so now as we're able, we're gonna take that bottom hand and it's gonna be extended really just slightly below your armpit, right? That top hand, we're gonna reach for the top of the stick. Once we get there, then we're gonna straighten that bottom hand. And I want you to feel like you're pushing it out from your lat. Okay, so use that energy surrounding your rib cage. Use those lats. Okay, soft bend in the knee. Right arm is bent. Exhale, extend, reach for the top part of the stick. Grasp, check in with your bottom arm. Lower it below your armpit, press away, bending your stick. There you go, Anne, that looks good on this side, much better. Good, okay, release that pressure slowly and come back up to neutral. Nice. Oh. I get it. Okay, all right. All right, now check in with your position of your stick. Okay, I have it on the inside of my left big toe. Left hand on top of the stick. Reaching across with the right hand. And let's hinge. Slight rotation. Slight rotation. Relax through your neck and tops of shoulders. Get those shoulders stacked. Feel your chest pressing into the stick. Good. Okay, hinge and come out of that. Good. Let's move it to the right side. Right hand on top of the stick. It's running straight up and down. Left hand's going to cross in front of the belly button, grasp, fingers pointed down, palm out. Slide the hand down. Nice hinge. Good. Okay, press your heels to the ground. Exhale, rise up out of the hinge. And now let's take it right in front of the belly button. Do that same thing, okay? Just change in directions a little bit. Okay, so right hand on top, soft bend in the knees. The grip is extended about the distance of my arms. Okay, I'm gonna extend my right hand, thumb pointed down, hinge, melting my stick into the, or melting my chest into the stick. Good, softly bend the knees, press your heels and come up. Now let's return to the left foot. Okay, so we're back to where we started from. I feel like it's kind of a little globe thing here. Okay, so now we're gonna return left hand on top, right hand on bottom, and we're gonna add a lateral lunge. We should be ready for this. This is why we did the strengthener, James. Okay, so right hand reaches across the belly button, palm out, thumb down. Okay, slide down. Good. Okay, now we're gonna take a lateral lunge. So I'm leaning away from the stick. So right knee is bending. Gripping strongly with my bottom hand, my right hand. Most of my body weight on that outside foot. Exhale, press up, back to neutral, and then press through your heels and come up. Good. Okay, move the stick to the right foot, right hand on top. Left hand crosses at the belly button, palm out, thumb down. Good. Start hinging, extending, getting your shoulders in parallel. We should be nice and warm, hopefully, and comfortable now. And now we're going to lean into a left lateral lunge. So left knee bends, strong grip with that left hand on bottom. Good. Hold that for a 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press from that left foot back to neutral and press back up. Good. Good stretching in the low back. Whew. Okay. So now we're going to try getting into some sneak. Okay. We're nice and warm. Our hinge is warm. Our back is stretched. Soft bend in the knees. The stick is in the crook of your arms. Oh, this is the one that sometimes hurts our back because it presses into our back as we do this. So if you recall, when we do snake, we have ourselves all prepped with our stick, and then we hinge forward just a little bit. And then I'm looking at my right hand, which is palm up, and I'm going to rotate it palm down and reach for my inner thigh. And I'm trying to pass it through my legs, pressing into my inner thigh. My gaze is up over my left shoulder. And the further I can pass my arm through my legs, the more I force myself into bigger rotation. Okay, slowly sneak that arm out. Good, return it to palm up. Then take the left hand, rotate palm down, reaching for the inner thigh of the left hand. Exhale, rotate, rotate, looking over your right shoulder. Releasing in your low back. Good. Okay, and release that arm. Come back to neutral. We'll press up. We'll try that one more time, okay? Is that okay? Eh? All right. I find the more I can focus on my body setup, like breathing into my low belly with strength, the more I can allow my low back to release. That is kind of a stressful position that we're in because we feel that stick pressing into our back kind of firmly. But if we can give those muscles permission to lengthen, we'll really get somewhere. Okay, so I have palm up, stick in the crook of my elbows, hinge, palm up, rotate right hand palm down, pressing through my inner thigh, taking my gaze over my left shoulder. Good, breathe into your low belly, flatten and zip. Good. And exhale again as you return back to neutral. All right, palm up. Now left hand palm down. Exhale as you press it through your inner thigh. Good, and slowly return to center. Heels to the ground and back up. All right, nicely done. Okay. Whew. That was a lot for our backs. Let's get back to our hamstrings. Okay, so using our stick, we'll just go into our favorite half nail pose. I have left foot up or left knee up, right leg back, and I'm stretching through my hip flexors as I glide forward. The stick is in my right hand, helping to support my spine, my good posture. Good. Slide back, slide forward. Good, back, and I'm gonna take one more slide forward. Nicely done. Front of the hips, trying to stay as soft as you can. Slide back to neutral, slide that left leg out, allow it to go dead. Ideally, you have your yoga blocks close, or you can use your stick. Square your hips first before you go down, right? We want shoulders and hips in parallel, those headlights pointed forward. Soft quad, soft hamstring, and then slowly start melting toward the ground. Soft foot too. Good. Visualize your hamstrings lengthening and softening. Feel your hips slowly moving away from your foot. Good. Now slide that heel forward. Find your nice neutral. Hands are framing the foot. And exhale as left hand spirals to the ceiling, right hand to the ground. Slowly return and frame. Exhale as you press that right hand through the ground. Left finger reaches for the ceiling again. Good. Reframing the foot. Now left hand stays down and right hand's going to exhale and reach. Good. Okay. Left hand by left foot, staying down, framing the foot with the right hand, and exhale as right hand reaches for the ceiling one more time. Nicely done. Okay, keeping those hands on the mat. Find tabletop and then swoop that right leg forward. Okay, good. So now we're in a half nail with left knee down, right foot up. All right, coming up to our half nail, stick in your left hand and glide forward. Softening through the hip flexors. Return to center, nice and easy. Exhale as you glide forward. Back to center. And last time, glide forward. Excellent. Once you return to center, slowly extend that right leg right out from the hip and allow it to go quiet and dead. Using your stick or your yoga blocks, begin melting yourself toward the mat. Slowly Fingertips to the ground. Square your hips and shoulders. Visualize the back of the legs softening and lengthening like taffy. You know what it feels like today, James? Feels like a scorpion kind of day. All right. Slide that right foot forward so it's underneath the knee. Hands are framing. Okay, we're going to take a couple of trunk rotations to each side. So left hand's going to stay next to the right foot. Right arm extends out from the ear and extends all the way to the ceiling. Get those shoulders stacked. Maybe feel a little bit of stretch in that right glute. Slowly spiral the hand back down to frame the foot. And exhale, spiral again, opening up. Good, slowly lowering. Now I'm going to keep my right hand down next to my right foot. Left hand extending out and spiral. Left hand, left back of shoulder, pulling my shoulder back, trying to get me in parallel. Hand comes back down to the ground. And exhale one more time, left hand extending out and trying to get to parallel, reaching for the ceiling. Good, and spiral the left hand back down. Okay, pull that right leg through, set it to the ground right next to the left and take a child's pose. Extending your fingers far away from your armpits, relaxing through your neck. Good, use your breath to help you relax into your position. Identify those parts of your body that you still feel tight or tense. Good, let's go ahead and come back up into tabletop. Find your hands underneath your armpits, draw the belly button in and slide that right knee toward the right hand. Plant it firmly. Extend the left foot back so it's nice and straight behind. And then creep, creep, creep your right foot up towards your left hand as you're able. Just walk it on over there, okay? And as you're able, we're gonna slowly lower our torso to our elbows. Release your quad, your left quad that was gripping. And as that right hip begins to soften, maybe it can bear a little bit more. So lower your torso all the way to the ground. Extend your arms up overhead, resting on the ground, forehead to the mat. Where are you gripping here? Good. Okay, start sliding your hands back under your armpits. Press your torso up and away. Then we'll start sliding that right leg out from underneath. Return yourself to tabletop. Okay, wrists under armpits, knees under hips. And then right, left knee slides up toward left hand, straight up. Extend that right leg back And then sneak, sneak, sneak that left foot over, over, over toward that right hand as far as you can comfortably. Some do better than others. Okay, and then you're once in the position that you think you can maintain, lower your torso down onto your elbows. Release the tension in your right quad. Try to give your left hip permission to soften. Good, and once you pass that edge, or it recedes, then lower your torso all the way down to the mat, arms extended above, forehead down. And don't grit your teeth here, just try and relax and breathe. As you exhale, think lifting pelvic floor, deepening my transverse, zipping my rib cage, and not squeezing my glutes. That's right, no clenching. They're all stretched out, or they're all worked. They're tired. Good, then as you're able, slide the hands back under your armpits. Press your torso up off the mat. Slide that left leg back. So you're back to tabletop. Now, for those of you that want to try it, scorpion. Okay, so take your stick and run it, lay it out in front of you. So you're going to lay down, and as you tee out your arms, the stick is right underneath your chest. And you're going to grasp the stick with two hands. And you can just play with this, all right? You do not have to go very deeply into it. But the stick is really useful because it helps keep your chest down as much as possible. All right. So I'm going to use my left leg first. So I'm going to contract through my hamstring, bending my left leg so now my heel is pointed toward the ceiling. Okay, I'm going to exhale, contract through my hamstring even more and float the knee off the ground so I can feel my right quad pushing through the ground. And then I'm going to start allowing my left leg to get heavy and rotate my pelvis. So my pelvis has rotated. My chest, I'm trying to still keep on the mat. The front side of my hips is off the ground. The weight of my left leg is heavy to pull my pelvis off center. So here I'm trying to get some low back stretch in this position. We obviously do a lot of low back stretching in other positions. This is just kind of a fun, weird one to do. Rotate back to center. Return the left leg down to the ground. Bend the right leg so the sole of the foot is toward the ceiling. Left quad gets heavy, right leg floats off the ground. And then begin peeling the right side of the hip off the ground. Allow that right leg to dangle. In theory, it's reaching for the ground, but you're trying to get some rotation around your sacroiliac joint. Gripping the stick to help keep your thoracic spine stable. Good. Okay, rotate back to center. Let that right leg go back down. Nicely done. Okay, let's reach for yoga straps. Hopefully that wasn't terrible. It's an experiment, James. I didn't hear all of that. Oh, this is true. You do not. Okay, the strap is around my right foot. My right leg is elevated. My left leg is down. I'm letting my right leg go dead. So I'm not clenching it. Hand straps in both hands, elbows into my rib cage, and I'm exhaling deeply as I contract and draw the foot further away from the ground, more toward my head. Good. Stop when you get to that edge. Pause there, breathe there. Make sure that you're able to be in a position where you're not clenching, gripping, holding on too tight. And slowly release the strap. Let the leg fall about 18 to 24 inches. Transition the straps to your left hand. Internally rotate. Keep that right glute dead. Now left hand's gonna contract, drawing the right big toe over toward that left shoulder, and we're trying to stretch the outer hamstring. Release that glute. Good, lower that leg. Return it to center. And let's go ahead and put that left leg in the strap and let the right leg reach for the ground. Hands in, or straps in both hands now. Pause for a minute before you get too deep, allowing that leg to go dead into the strap. And once you've achieved this, then you can begin the stretch. So exhale into your body, set up deeply, sinking that low belly. As you contract through the bicep to draw the leg up over the hip toward the head, lengthening through your left hamstring, keeping that left quad soft. Pausing when you've hit that edge, staying there, or maybe just backing up just a little bit so it's a place that you can live in for a couple rounds of breath and relax. Not just live in, but relax and ease into. Kind of like sinking into a hot bath. Okay, lower the leg just a little bit. Transition the straps to your right hand. Internally rotate, turning left big toe toward that right shoulder. Soften through that left glute. And then contract and pull that leg away, transitioning to the left outer hamstring. Good, now return that leg to center. And we'll go ahead and sneak that right foot in there. So right ankle onto left knee, hand straps back in both hands, right elbow into right inner thigh. Lats are heavy into the mat. Slowly start doing a little bicep curl with the straps, drawing your left knee in towards your chest as right elbow pushes right knee away. Keep that tension out of your torso if you can. Relax through your jaw, maybe shake it back and forth, relax your tongue. Good, slowly release the tension in the strap, trade feet. So right foot into the strap, left ankle on right knee, straps in both hands, left elbow into left inner thigh. Use that left lat to open up, pressing the knee away as you curl, bicep curl, pulling that right knee in towards your chest. All right, nicely done. Relax those straps. Let's keep that right knee crossed over, or left knee crossed over right, and let that tangle of legs fall over to your right side. Lengthen that right leg, the bottom side. Get it out of the way so you can get that left leg down toward the ground as far as you can. Pressing down with the right hand, left hand teed out. Trying to keep your left shoulder blade down on the ground. This is kind of the same thing in the low back that Scorpion tries to do, right? Good. Okay, let's rotate back to center. Cross right knee over left. Allow the tangle of legs to fall to your left side as your arms are teed out. Relax through your inner thighs. As you're able, extend that left leg so it's out of the way. Right knee is melting toward the ground. Use the left hand to help if you want. Try to make that right shoulder blade heavy. Good. Now slowly rotate back. Allow both sides of the hips, both ends of the hips to find their way back to the mat. Extend your legs long onto the mat. Arms are teed out, palm up. Just take a couple of rounds of breath here. Right now, I'm feeling I made the most progress today of all the areas in my low back. Great job. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me today. And this might be the last stretch session of 2020 also. So next week we'll be off for the Christmas holiday weekend, and the following weekend we'll be off for the New Year's holiday weekend. So you can find all the classes on YouTube. Just search for Coco Denver. And we have a couple of playlists out there, but this is under Sunday Stretch. So that's where you can find us. Have a great holiday season, everyone. Thanks.